The people at Falcon Ridge Auto Shop didn't pay much attention to the quiet man in the back bay. He wore the same faded coveralls every single day, kept his hair short, and rarely spoke more than was absolutely necessary. His name was Ethan Cole, though everyone there simply called him the mechanic. To most customers, he was just the guy who changed their oil, replaced their alternators, and handed back their keys with a polite nod. Nothing more. No one ever asked where he came from. No one wondered why he moved with the precision of a soldier, or why his hands carried tiny, faded scars that had nothing to do with car engines. But on one particular Thursday morning, all of that was about to change. It started with a sound-loud, arrogant laughter from the lobby. A 19-year-old named Kyle strutted inside with his friends, pointing toward Ethan as he worked underneath a truck. "Yo, look at this dude," Kyle laughed, his voice echoing through the shop. "I bet he's never done anything real in his life. He's just a mechanic." His friends smirked, whispering behind their hands. Ethan simply wiped his hands on a rag and continued his work. He'd been called worse. He'd certainly heard worse. And he knew that those who brag the loudest often know the least. But standing nearby was Marissa, the shop owner's daughter. She'd always sensed something different about Ethan, his discipline, his quiet precision, his deep silence. She didn't like the disrespect. "You don't even know him," she snapped at Kyle. Kyle just rolled his eyes. "Why would I? He fixes tires." End of story. Ethan didn't respond. He didn't need to. Because destiny was about to answer for him. Later that afternoon, the shop received an urgent call. It was Kyle. His newly modified street racer had blown its engine on the highway, and he was stranded. The car was smoking, leaking oil, and completely dead. A little while later, his friends pushed the broken-down car into the shop, and Kyle immediately started making demands. "Bro, just patch it up," he ordered. "I've got a race tonight." Ethan raised an eyebrow. The engine wasn't just damaged, it was destroyed. It was overtuned, poorly assembled, and dangerously unstable. "You didn't build this right," Ethan said calmly, his voice steady. "Your rods are misaligned, your compression is off, and your turbo isn't balanced. If you tried racing this, it could explode." Kyle laughed again, shaking his head. "What do you know?" "You fix minivans and farm trucks." Marissa stepped forward, ready to intervene, but Ethan gently held up a hand. "It's fine," he said quietly. "I'll handle it." He rolled his tool cart beside the car. And then something happened that shut everyone up. Most mechanics work fast, but Ethan worked perfect. Every single movement was controlled. Every adjustment was exact. He didn't check any manuals. He didn't hesitate for a second. Piece by piece, he began to rebuild the engine like a surgeon repairing a human heart. Kyle just stared, completely confused. "Where did you learn to do this?" he asked, his arrogance gone. Ethan didn't answer. But he didn't have to, because the answer had just walked through the front door. Two men in uniform stepped inside. They were wearing black flight suits with a patch that read, U.S. Air Force Special Operations Command, Chief Cole? The taller one asked, looking straight at Ethan. Kyle's jaw dropped. Marissa froze. Ethan stood up slowly, wiping his hands on his rag once again. "You weren't supposed to find me," he said with a small, knowing smile. The officer chuckled. "Sir, you built the best engines we ever had. The Ghost team can't fly without your work. We need you back. Another mission is coming up." Kyle blinked, his mind reeling. "Ghost team like the special ops jets?" Ethan finally looked him right in the eyes. "I wasn't just a mechanic," he said. "I designed and built engines for aircraft that aren't even on the public record. Jets that can cross a continent without being seen. Engines that keep special operators alive in the most dangerous places on Earth." The room went completely silent. "You may fix cars," the officer added, "but this man engineered the power plants for our most elite strike aircraft. He's a living legend." Kyle swallowed hard, suddenly aware of how foolish he'd been. I didn't know," he whispered. Ethan nodded. "That's why you shouldn't judge someone by what you think you see," Kyle apologized sincerely. And Ethan, as humble as ever, accepted it. He finished rebuilding Kyle's engine, tuning it better than any high-performance shop ever could. When Kyle started the car, the engine purred like a machine worth twice its price. "You ever need help?" Ethan said. "Come ask. But next time, show a little respect." Kyle nodded quickly. "Yes, sir." As the special ops officers waited by the door, Ethan packed a small bag of tools. "You heading out?" Marissa asked softly. "For a while," he replied. "But I'll be back." And with that, the mechanic walked out, no longer just a man in coveralls, but a hidden hero. Because sometimes the greatest warriors aren't the loudest ones. Sometimes they're the ones quietly fixing engines in the back of a small town shop.